Hey guys, it's Rob and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to talk about a Nintendo Switch 2 leak, specifically when it comes to a pretty big Pokemon game releasing on the Nintendo Switch 2 according to this leak. We also do have some news topics, so stick around after the Nintendo Switch leak. These of course include the Nintendo Switch emulator news that it got shut down. We also have Nintendo Switch Online mission reward update for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom 2, and some Mario movie news, and just a whole bunch of interesting stuff that's happened in the past couple days. If you want to be kept up on all the latest Nintendo Switch news, make sure you guys drop a like and of course subscribe. So let's start with the Nintendo Switch 2 leak for the Pokemon. This is what comicbook.com has to say. A new Pokemon leak has revealed a 2026 release date on Nintendo Switch 2 for Gen 10. It's already been 2 years since the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on Nintendo Switch, and 5 years since the release of Gen 8 Pokemon Sword and Shield in 2019. Before this, Pokemon Sun and Moon came out in 2016. Recently, the pattern has been 3 years between the release of the mainline Pokemon games. But it looks like the pattern is about to break, because according to the new rumor, the next mainline Pokemon game, Pokemon Gen 10, will not be ready to release next year, but rather will come out in 2026. Now, there are a couple things I do have to say if this ends up being true, because we know that sometimes the Pokemon games aren't the best, right? I mean, I know some people do enjoy Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, but when I think of a Nintendo Switch Pokemon game, I want them to go all out. I want it to look great, I want it to play great, and I want a lot of cool features in it. So I'm hoping if they end up spending more time on this game, it ends up being a lot better. And another thing, if you guys noticed, there hasn't really been any news on Pokemon ZA as well. They're kind of holding off on that as well, and I think that's because of the Nintendo Switch 2. But anyways, continuing. The latest rumor comes from prolific Pokemon leaker Riddler Koo, a source that has proven reliable in the past and a source that has been off the mark in the past as well, which is worth taking into consideration when considering the latest tidbit from the source. So essentially, like I say in all of these kind of videos, take it with a grain of salt. The leaker doesn't divulge much about the game, but claims it won't release until 2026, presumably during the holiday season like previous Pokemon games. Though this isn't specified, the only other thing noted is that folded hands emoji, which is apparently a tease, though how it is a tease is unclear. And moving on to the next topic, we have the Nintendo Switch emulator being shut down. So I do have some thoughts on this. So if you guys haven't heard about this yet, which if you're on Twitter you probably came across a post, but the Nintendo Switch emulator is being shut down by Nintendo themselves. Now this comes after the leak of The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which probably played a big hand in it. Now if I remember correctly, around the time of Tears of the Kingdom, the Nintendo Switch emulator, the past one before this, was also shut down as well. This is what GBAtemp.net has to say. According to the official statement on the Discord server, developer GDK-chan was contacted by Nintendo and they were offered an agreement to stop working on the emulator project, and while the agreement wasn't confirmed yet, the organization has been entirely removed. Now there are a couple sides to this. One side you could say, well, this is really bad for emulation, but on the other side you could also say, let's all be honest. A lot of people were just downloading Nintendo Switch games illegally, not actually buying the games or ripping the ROM off the cartridge and playing it on the emulator for higher frame rate and resolution. They were acquiring these ROMs illegally, and more than likely that's the majority of the people who were using the emulator. Now for people who were using it the right way, the legal way, this really does suck, because this means that a lot of Nintendo Switch games can now not be played or not as easily played at a higher frame rate and resolution, which is something that I actually wanted to do. I wanted to learn how to rip the ROMs off the cartridges and play them on the emulator. Another thing you have to keep in mind is that this is their current console. If Nintendo shut down, say, Dolphin, then I think there would be some kind of funky thing, because a lot of GameCube games are either over expensive or they're hard to find. And Nintendo really hasn't added the Nintendo Switch Online service GameCube games yet, nor are they obviously making copies of GameCube games, so there's really no way to play these games. So if they went after emulators where these games aren't accessible, then there would be a huge problem. With that being said, downloading those ROMs as well is also illegal too. I just want to say that emulation of any kind, when you're getting the ROMs online and downloading them and you don't actually own the games, is illegal. Though if you really do want to play these games and Nintendo isn't really offering away, then what can you do? Other than either never play the games or just wait for Nintendo to do something, or, do the illegal thing. Nintendo's not forcing your hand to do that, of course, so it's really up to that single person to decide whether or not they want to do it or not. But when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, this is their current console and their only console. Part of me is also wondering if this is because of the Nintendo Switch 2. That's coming out very, very soon. Are they cracking down on emulation more because of that, or is it just a coincidence that we're like I don't want to say on the horizon. Well, I guess we're on the horizon of the Nintendo Switch. At least the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, I would say. So it's going to be interesting to see if anything else gets shut down or what's going to happen with this. But anyways, moving on to the next topic. So the Nintendo Museum. There's a lot of really cool merchandise at the Nintendo Museum. There's a ton of GameCube merchandise as well, which I really want. But it seems that some scalpers have ruined the party for us Nintendo fans. Look at this title, or I guess listen to it. Nintendo Museum is limiting select merchandise sales as expensive online listings arise. And this really sucks. I hate scalpers, man. I absolutely hate them. But anyways, this is what Nintendo Life has to say. Last week we got a sneak peek at some of the awesome merchandise available exclusively at the Nintendo Museum. Well, wouldn't you know it, after just one day of being open to the public, the attraction has announced that it will be limiting its sales on select items, thanks to VGC. As detailed in the post of the official Nintendo Museum Twitter account, the Kyoto site will now be installing one per person sale limitations on its game hardware keychain collection, select hand-funded cards, lanyards, and pass cases, and the game magnet collection. The limitation also applies to the controller cushions that were particularly enamored with last week. That's what it says, with last week. So this actually really does suck, because, I mean, eventually I would like to go visit there, and honestly, if it was up to me, I would buy a couple of them, not to scalp, but just to have for myself. I actually plan on making a gaming room in my house, and that would be some cool things to put in there. A giant Wii remote. I mean, I guess I could still buy it, but it's one per person. Really unfortunate for those who ruined it for us, right? And real quick, guys, we do have an update for Wave 2 of the icons for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This is what Nintendo Life has to say. Nintendo has now released the second wave of icons based on The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So if you want to go get those, Wave 2 is now available. Now, Wave 3 will be available in the next week, so make sure you guys are subscribed to get an update on that. And last but not least, we do have some Mario movie news. So Mario movie actor says second film is very exciting. Earlier this year on Mario Day, Nintendo announced it will be working on a new movie based on the world of Super Mario. While not much else has been shared about this upcoming film scheduled to arrive in 2026, Toad's movie voice actor Keegan-Michael Key has now made some comments about it during the recent chat. I don't know why that says chant. He's found it to be very exciting so far and says Mario fans can look forward to the movie that's a little broader in scope, with very intriguing lore and one that has some really fantastic Easter eggs. So really cool stuff, guys. Honestly, I enjoyed the Mario movie, and I'm really excited to see what they do with this, especially just the universe in general. I hope we get a Donkey Kong movie. Honestly, I want a Luigi's Mansion movie. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about today's topics in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.